Hey guys, it's Jason from Gardening with Jason. Bringing you my backyard garden tour today. I brought you the front yard yesterday, and hopefully this will get loaded up tomorrow. So um, you can see how the backyard's turning out. The backyard is still a work in progress. It's a lot of thistle, a lot of weeds back here, and I still haven't planted all my winter sowing containers or my seed started containers either. So I was working all day yesterday out here trying to get some weeding done, and you'll see some trash bags sitting around and stuff like that of some thistle that I've weeded that I haven't gotten to the trash yet. So um, like I said, this real life garden tours. What you see is what you get. I don't go through trying to spruce everything up all at once just for a garden tour. So um, you might see some landmines from the dogs. I don't know. Who knows what you're going to see in the video, but hopefully you'll see a lot more um, beautiful plants than what you do distractions. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks. Okay, guys. It's pretty windy today, so hopefully that doesn't interfere with the sound too much. I do have my mic on, so hopefully that'll help. I'm just giving you an overall view of what I consider my shade garden. As you can see, there's still a bunch of weeds there. I haven't really worked on much lately. I've just been so busy. Time's getting away from me this spring slash summer already. So, um, yeah, well, it's always a working progress. I just take it day by day, and what I get done, I get done. I just try not to stress about it too much. This is a fun little hobby for me, so I try not to take it too serious. Um, that is until the dog or the kids get into something and start stepping all over things. But we'll see how it continues to go. Okay, so let's start over here. The oak leaf hydrangea. The That's a native oak leaf hydrangea that my mother gave me last time I was in Florida. It's coming back pretty good. It's looking pretty good right now. I'd say it's about 2 feet tall, but it's got huge, big old broad leaves on it. I don't know if I'll get any blooms on it this year or not, but we'll see. And then this I featured in videos on my Instagram. This is a green dragon. I got a bunch of sedum and some various hostas in here as well as a bunch of maple seedlings that I need to go through and yank out. There are so many of those. Some coral bells, some Jack Frost Brunner. The blooms on it's already gone. This is a fire pink Silene Virginica. If I can get it to focus, I don't think it's going to focus for me, but it's got one little bloom left on it. Just a bunch of random hostas. I've got some of them labeled, some I don't. I know this one here is Francis Williams. I've got my Spagilia Marylandica, little redhead. I showed you the Raging Cajun and the native one out in the front garden bed. And that one is Little Redhead by proven winners. Got some peachberry ice, wildberry ice, coral bells. Which something keeps digging in this garden. I think it's my resident chipmunk that I have that roams around the yard. The praying hands hosta is looking really good. Got an Empress Wu hosta back there. And a Summon Substance hosta. As well as some native columbine. And you see I have added a soaker hose to this section of the garden and this other section of the garden. I was gifted these two soaker hoses from a friend of my wife's, as well as the connection. The only thing I'm waiting on for this soaker hose here is I had to order a stopper from Amazon. So once that stopper gets here, that one will be in good use, and I'll just turn on my rain barrel and let it keep this area kind of wet and moist as much as it can. It's that Tardiana June hosta. I got guacamole hosta there. And I'm trying to get a ground cover of ajuga going. Some Annabelle hydrangeas there that I started from cuttings. And that's the spice bush. Oh, I skipped over my Aphrodite sweet shrub, my Calycanthus. It's not very big right now, but it does have one single bloom on it. And a bunch of weeds over in here. The dappled willow is looking pretty good. Coral bells, some more hostas, some more brunnera. The autumn brilliant service berry has set fruit pretty well on them. I had a few of them the other day. They tasted pretty good, not too bad. But I don't know what's going on with some of these. Some of these are getting these little hair-like growths on them. I don't know if that's just, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's just underdeveloped or didn't get pollinated good enough or what. The Brandywine viburnum is looking great, setting blooms. As well as the Little Devil Nine Bark. Some more hostas thrown in here. That's a First Frost hosta. The Gatsby Moon oak leaf hydrangea. The Winecraft Black Smoke Bush is pretty small right now, as well as the Lemony Lace Elderberry. But I purchased those as little quart containers last year at the end of the season on clearance. So I wasn't really expecting much. Um, my I don't know if my Mount Airy Fothergilla just doesn't like where it's planted or if something is wrong with it. But it did this last year too. It I didn't get to see it bloom last year because I bought it after it had bloomed. But as soon as I planted it, it lost all of its leaves curled up like this, turned very brittle and dry, and they all just fell off. Eventually, it did put out a few more leaves, not very many. It didn't put out very many leaves this year either, but it was green and it bloomed. But now all the leaves are dying and falling off, so I don't know what's going on with that. This Autumn Brilliant Service Berry, it is way more loaded with berries than what the other one is. I planted these hoping to bring in some cedar waxwing birds to the garden so I could photograph. But so far, I haven't even seen anything eating any of the berries right now, except for me. That's the Encore Azalea that came back. I believe it's Autumn Royalty. And then this is the Pinky Winky Prime hydrangea that I purchased this past spring. And here is the other spice bush, just your regular old native spice bush. I planted those in hopes to get some swallowtail butterfly caterpillars to be able to photograph those as well. Back in here, kind of my junk pile plus a scarlet dropmore honeysuckle. And again, it's doing the same thing it did last year. I don't know what this is about. The flowers just curl up, never really developed. And they just curled up and died. I think it did have a lot of aphids on it again this year, not as many as last year. So I don't know if that's part of the problem or what. This is where I keep some of my potted up things that I've experimented with as far as um, propagating, and as well as some other things that I just haven't planted that I bought as quartz and just potted up as well. Here, this is the Eastern Snowball Viburnum that I took from my mother-in-law's house that had um, rooted itself. It was a branch that was laying on the ground and it had rooted in, so I dug it up and transplanted it, and it's doing great. That's my various honeyberries. And once again, I haven't got a berry off of any of them this season either, so maybe better luck next year. And like I said, time is slipping away from me this season, so I just got my tomato plants in the ground. So I've got Honeycomb Hybrid, Super Sweet 100, Orange Wellington, which is like an orange beefsteak, I guess. That one's a mystery because the tag fell off that one, or I didn't have it labeled, and it was kind of separated from any groups during my plant sale that I had. Beefsteak, Brad's Atomic Grape, and Sun Gold. So that's all my tomatoes. The coneflowers are starting to get ready to bloom as well. Variegated Lysimachia is looking good back here. The irises are done. I've got some Bennery's Giant Zinnias that I've direct sowed here, as well as my Thalictrum that I winter sowed. I went ahead and put in the ground there. More coneflower getting ready to bloom. And some daylilies getting ready to bloom as well. Another Spigelia, my favorite plant of all time. I just love the little red and yellow flower that thing gives off. More hostas, some more coral bells. Shadblow, serviceberry. The major wheeler honeysuckle is coming back after I had to chop it down to the ground from where the dog destroyed it when I planted it last year. But it's getting some blooms on it, and the blooms on it are looking a lot better than what the blooms have ever looked on the Scarlet Dropmore so far. This pond area is definitely under construction. I'm trying to go bigger on my pond, but it's going to be a while before I get that hole dug big enough to where I want it to be able to put a liner. Contorted filbert's looking good. The Ligularia dentata is looking good. If I don't trip on my son's toys out here. Annabelle hydrangea looking good. The blueberries are looking rough. They're not doing good, doing too hot. This here is a crepe myrtle tree that I had propagated last season and overwintered in my garage from my parents' house down in Florida. I don't know what variety it is or anything like that. It's just one of their crepe myrtles they had on their property. I decided I'd give it a shot and see how it does up here. I'm assuming it's probably Notch's crepe myrtle. Still all my mess from seed starting and winter sowing. The hairy mountain mint is putting on some size. Probably getting ready to, I'd say it's probably getting ready to bloom as well. I've got lots of little seedlings coming up everywhere throughout here. So hopefully they'll take hold and really put on some size next year, because I know they're mainly working on their roots this season. So we'll see how it goes. The Proudberry Coralberry is doing good. Hasn't started setting any kind of berries on it or anything yet. The Sugar Shack Button Bush is looking really good. It must like its spot here. This spot holds quite a bit of water when it rains, so decided to put it here, and it looks like it's getting several little blooms on it. So I'm very excited to watch this one bloom. The Temple of Bloom 7 Sunflower, I have yet to see it put on any kind of blooms. It might be starting on the tips there. Like I said, this is the first year I've had this one in the ground. I bought it last fall as a clearance plant. The Maltese cross flowers are looking great right now, as well as the penstemon. Some of the Rebeckias are coming up. They're starting to set bloom as well. Just a bunch of various perennials in here that I've got planted. This whole area right in here. This is kind of my birding setup, where I have my bird feeders, and I sit out here on the porch. This gets the best sunlight as far as picture taking quality for my birds. I'll come back out here and I'll sit on my deck, usually in that chair right there or a chair over there behind the pond. I'll sit and just kind of watch this area and try to photograph hummingbirds and different birds that come in. Here lately, it's been mostly sparrows and starlings that I've been able to get. I haven't captured too many goldfinches, or I get a lot of house finches, but not too many. I see goldfinches out here occasionally. Hopefully, they'll start coming around, sticking around a little bit more when things really start blooming. Same with the hummingbirds. I haven't seen but one or two out here this season so far. It's been a very slow year for hummingbirds for some reason. And I've got all this Vermilion Airacouphia just showing off, ready for some hummingbirds to come in and eat it up. That's Vermilion Airacouphia and Bunnytails grass that I've got in that pot. More Vermilion Airacouphia with some Summer Jewels Pink Salvia, and then some more Vermilion Airacouphia back in there. Then I got another Salvia planted back there with that as well. I think I've got Rose Rhapsody planted with that one, I think. The Firelight Tidbit is fully leafed out. Looks like this one that I transplanted is the White Wands Veronica. And the Scentlandia Sweet Spire is just really showing off all them beautiful blooms this year. It's looking great. Some more Maltese cross back there. The taller thing behind the middle Maltese cross there is a great coneflower, Rudbeckia maxima, and I started it from winter sowing and put it in the ground last year, and this is the first year that I've gotten a bloom on it. So it took 2 years to bloom, but it looks like it's going to have a bloom this year, maybe 2. The Flamethrower Redbud is looking great. All the evergreens that I transplanted are looking really good right now, as far as the Mugo Pine and the Lemon Thread False Cypress. The pink diamonds, Dicentra. It's looking okay. It looks like it's reduced in size since I planted it last year, but got a maple tree coming up there. Get rid of that. It's a Molly Collins or Collie Mullins Rose of Sharon. Some borage. With some blooms on it. The strawberry vanilla hydrangea is looking good and strong this year. Be looking forward to seeing it set bloom. The Maltese cross, and that's the great coneflower. Blue chiffon Rose of Sharon. Looks like it might be setting out to start blooming here shortly soon, or set buds. Black lace elderberry is doing pretty good. That is a I can't remember the name of it. It's a sunflower. It's I think it's Helianthus maximus. But I can't remember the everyday name for it. The popcorn viburnum I transplanted back here is doing pretty good. And the Pinky Winky hydrangea is looking nice and strong as well. As well as the Diablo 9 bark. And some purple pillar Rose of Sharon's there. I've got to do something with the strawberry patch. It's getting a lot of grass mixed in with it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. My son hasn't been coming out here to pick the strawberries as much this year. Plus, something just seems to keep getting them before we do. Now, I'm pretty excited for these this year. This is our little blackberry patch. These are all a thornless variety, so I can come in here and just touch away as much as I want. It's not gonna poke me or the kids while we're back here harvesting. There are quite a few little blackberries on this guy. We'll see if the birds let us get any of them. All my American Pillar arborvitaes are doing good, as well as my standing ovation service berries, which are setting fruit. Looks like. The compass plant has gotten bigger this year. I started it with winter sowing last year, and they say it'll take 3 to 4 years before it ever gets a bloom on it. So it's gotten taller this year. It's made it through the winter. The Hollywood juniper's looking beautiful. One of my favorite evergreens in my whole garden. Um, putting on some size, getting loaded down with these little juniper cones. Try to come back here and clean up as much of this invasive Canadian thistle as I could. Planted some Verbena bonariensis back here. I'm hoping just me tackling the thistle and pulling it when I see it will help to make it a little bit of a weaker plant for these other things to maybe come through and take over and compete with it a little bit more. The Royal Purple Smoke Bush is looking good. And this is a Brilliantissima chokeberry. I've added this to the garden since the last video. Oh, I skipped over our my Kindred Spirit oak. So this is a Kindred Spirit hybrid oak. It's a columnar oak tree. It's getting lots of good growth on it, lots of beautiful leaves, and I think it's even developing acorns there. So I'm very excited to watch this one take off and grow and put on some size in the garden to be a nice little standout back in this area. This is a Burkwoodii viburnum I thought was gone. My dog chewed it all the way to the ground when we got her as a puppy this past fall. And it's branching back out and coming back out. It was just one little single stick that I thought was pretty much dead, but it still had some green to it. So I moved it, planted it back here, and it's taken off. Kind of give you an overview here of this area. So it's starting to come along. I really got to invest in some mulch next year, I think. Still got a lot of areas I want to mulch, like this area. I want to make it all mulch as well. Got a little PG hydrangea right there. Some more blackberries over here. You'll be able to see these ones a little bit better because the plant's not as bushy right now, but it's got a load of them on there. And again, this one's also nice and thornless, pain-free, ouch-free. The grass that was here when we moved in is coming out pretty good. It makes a nice tall backdrop back here by the fire pit. Got a little stand of black-eyed Susans from where I cut back my black-eyed Susans at the end of the year out front and just kind of laid them back here. And they've self-seeded and really made a nice little stand back here. The white pillar Rosa Sharons that I bought as quart containers are making some headway. Also got a nice little patch of hairy mountain mint there. It's either hairy mountain mint or regular mountain mint. Well, my tags went blank. That one might be the regular mountain mint that I started from seed this year. And yes, I put it in the ground. I'm not too concerned about it. I heard the mountain mints aren't quite as aggressive as your regular mints, but that's all right, especially back here in this area. I don't mind. Don't mind it at all. Another little, I guess it's better. It's definitely better than this invasive Canadian thistle. Another little smoke bush right there. Gifted to me from a neighbor down the road. Got some common milkweed coming up here. And then my Tardiva hydrangea is putting on some good growth as well. So I planned with this electric box right here. I plan to let this grow up and then limit up above the electric box and keep it cut away from it and kind of tree form it or do a multi-trunk tree form back here in this area of this Tardiva hydrangea. So that way they can still get to that box without a bunch of leaves and limbs taking it over. So we're back over here to my little junk area and my Scarlet Dropmore honeysuckle, which isn't performing very well. But yeah, I think that about does it for the actual tour part of this video, with showing you certain plants. So I'm gonna walk back up here to the stairs. I'll take you this way because I think there's a few things I've missed over in this section. The Black Diamond, center stage Black Diamond crepe myrtle that I bought last fall that I thought wasn't going to come back. It did. Once it started showing some new signs of growth, I ended up moving it from where it was because I ended up putting my Kindred Spirit Oak right where this was going to be. So I put this over in here in front of my pergola. So pretty excited to watch it grow up. I don't know how the tag says 10 by 10, but I don't know if it'll get 10 by 10 here because I don't know if it'll die all the way back to the ground like it did this season and then have to regrow every year, or if it'll come back on old wood once it starts getting used to our area. So I've got a Neon Flash Spirea all out in bloom there. The Flaming Mound Spirea is blooming as well with its chartreuse color. This is my Amethyst Falls Wisteria. I ended up cutting it all the way back because none of the old growth was shooting back out. So it was all shooting out from the middle there in the ground. So I cut it all the way back. And then I've also moved it to this corner because I had it over here in the middle. I didn't like it there, especially if I was putting the crepe myrtle here. I went ahead and put it on the corner so it could climb up this corner post and then along that wire I have right there in the middle and then on up to the top as well. The Miskim Lilac. The lavender's starting to bloom. That is a Munstead lavender that I started from winter sowing last season. A bunch more perennials. Perennial Rebecca mainly. Another Neon Flash Spirea. Another Vermillionaire Kufia in a pot. just loaded with flowers ready for the hummingbirds if they ever show up. And I've got it planted with some Tradescantia, Wandering Dude, or Wandering Jew, whatever you want to call it. The little yellow snapdragons that I started from seed from winter sowing that I collected are starting to put out some buds. And these little Summer Jewels Pink Salvias, I just put them in the ground. They were struggling in their little pots that I potted them up in, so I finally got them planted in the ground somewhere. I've still got more that I need to put out. Like I said, these blueberries are just really struggling. But again, I transplanted them this year. I put some peat moss mixed with pine bark and compost in this area where they're planted. So I'm hoping that will help them to establish better in the next couple of years. So we'll see on those. All right, let me take you up to the upper deck, give you an overall view from up there, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. We're just going to give you kind of an overall view of the backyard, how I've got it laid out. Okay, and that about does it. And it looks like the baseball players are getting ready to start some practice, so it's going to get pretty loud out here. And I'm glad I got out to get this video done for you all, this video tour and garden tour. So I hope you found something you like or found something useful in it. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.